Close by.
Okay. I almost didn't recognize you without the suit coat.
Okay.
His wife usually is up at your side.
Yeah.
Well, I have to come and see Brent in his suit coat. Oh, he does have one.
See?
Yeah.
No tie.
No tie, but I do have a coat.
Yeah. Hi, Sue, again.
Hi, Sue,
Hi,
Betty,
Sue.
and John. How are you?
Fine.
Fine.
Again? We
It
just
wasn't-
saw each other at Sugar Grove.
Oh. Did they have morning service there?
Yeah, it's 7.
Yep.
I never
7.
got any announcement about it or anything.
And it wasn't as cold. They've got some heat in there now.
What? Huh.
Yeah, they had baseboard heating.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't-
usually they send out a notice to all the churches and stuff. We didn't get one.
It was in the
They didn't. Yeah, they
Western.
didn't send one out. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
I said it was in Western updates, but yeah,
Huh.
Yeah, it was, but that wasn't until Friday.
right. Yes.
Right.
Right here, closer to the owl.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I actually sent an email to Sean and asked him. And so he says, oh yeah, we are, and here's when it is, and then that came out on Friday, and I thought, well, that's kind of late.
Yeah. Was there a nice crowd?
Yes, there was.
Good.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Get Sugar Grove.
Oh,
Are you recording?
Morning.
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 Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
hi, Sylvia.
Good morning.
Hi, Dan.
How are you feeling
Good
today,
morning.
Nancy?
All right.
Have you been hunting Easter eggs?
No.
Have you
my
been hiding Easter eggs? Oh.
my Easter egg hunts are through.
Yeah.
I have lots of little ones that we're going to be at Lisa's, or not Lisa's.
Yeah,
Well, it's not Lisa's.
we're going out to dinner with Lisa's family at Ashley's house where she lives. So there'll be lots of little ones there to hunt eggs.
Early, so I can't get to them.
Well,
Lily.
that'll be fun.
What's up?
I mean,
Enjoy that, Nancy?
I like that because that way I don't end up mowing a bunch that these people have hidden so well that I would be out seeing eggs shoot out from underneath the mower.
We never left anything to see.
all the time
We
with
had time for it.
Oh, yeah.
I used to count the eggs before I hid them at my house before the grandchildren came. And then they all had to count theirs to make sure that we had collected all of them. And they
Didn't
vowed
always happen.
year after year that I didn't know how to count.
Because it never turned out the same way it started, that's for sure.
We had an egg hunt down on
About the recording, can I turn it on?
road at the old place,
Yeah.
the old farm. And that was fun. In the orchard and
Yeah, I remembered to turn on the recording this week. I forgot last week.
okay.
Brent, enjoyed your story about repurposing the pallets.
Yes, that was good.
Thank you.
Some of the pallets today aren't worth repurposing. They fall apart about as fast as they get the stuff off of them. They used to make it out of 1/2-inch lumber and really good stuff. Like you said, 6-penny nails, 8-penny nails.
Yeah.
Today it's 5-penny nails, I think.
Yeah, I made the woodshed out of that. It's still hanging around, and part of the barn is made out of that. And our doghouse was made out of the pallets that were left over in the leftover siding. So.
Waste not, what not.
Hmm?
Say our doghouse, is that you and sharing with the dog?
Well, it's when we had a dog. I don't live out there anymore. It was a little drafty. So now that Princess was the dog who lived out there. Now that she was gone, I don't want to stay out there by myself. So it ended up on the burn pile eventually.
Cats used it.
What's going on in Iowa?
Beautiful weather. Starting to do some work in the fields.
Oh,
On Sunday.
is it dry?
We had an inch of rain a few days ago, but yesterday conditions were pretty good. You know, seeding waterways and alfalfa and things like that.
And planting garden,
Oh, yeah.
planting potatoes and peas and lettuce.
Wow. Isn't it early?
Maybe that was Good Friday, you know.
Well,
Hey, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Hey.
I had somebody drive me to meeting this morning.
Huh?
yeah,
Say something.
Brandon's here.
It's nice to see all of you again.
Hi,
Our
Brandon.
youngest member, I think.
Great.
Good to see you, Brandon. We'll have a virtual hug.
Yes.
What?
No, you just look very thoughtful, Chip.
Oh.
Dave, are you leaving today?
Pardon? We didn't hear you, Sylvia.
Dave, I was asking Dave if he's gonna take off today or wait till tomorrow to go to North Carolina.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Teachers at Monrovia.
I've got a shopping list from Patrice and Sally for the fruit and vegetable market half a mile down the street here.
Okay.
They don't open, they open at 7 tomorrow morning. They're not open today.
Well, they shouldn't be, yeah.
And the guy in the corner.
So how long a trip is that for you, Dave?
Well, I break it up with an overnight. It'd be about 12 hours straight through. So I'll go maybe 5 and 5 or some such thing, 5 and 6.
Yeah. And then the Iowans, how long will it take you to get there?
Well, we're going kind of the long way around. We're gonna go to Quaker Haven tonight
Oh my.
to check on the cottage. The renters have left, and so now I just need to go check on things before we decide what to do next with it. And then at McConaughey's tomorrow night. Does that feel weird or what?
Yeah.
They think it feels weird. We think it feels weird. So as we talk about it, what feels weird, and we're okay. And then we'll drive Tuesday and get there right in the middle of the afternoon, I hope.
Where did your renters go?
Olivia, Brian, just moved in with his parents. I think they said they needed to save money. It was just they just needed us. They just bought a new car, and I think they were stretched tight, and they eventually want to find a place in Warsaw because both of them work in Warsaw.
Oh, okay.
Is that?
She's getting a master's degree in some sort of a social psychological counseling thing.
Okay.
She's doing social work now.
Okay.
I don't know if he's employed. If he does, it's not a very high paying job. He's trying to make it as a musician.
Yeah, I knew he was, and I thought,
Yeah.
that's rough.
They didn't make that happen, that's a thing then.
Sylvia and Dan bought a refugee family and moved them near them.
So did They get the driver's license?
No, no. They failed the test.
Okay, okay.
The driving part or the written?
Well, they had to do the written part twice. The English,
Yeah.
this is for the refugees who come from Zimbabwe.
Mhm.
Some of the questions, if you weren't really good at English, were a little confusing, I think.
Yeah,
That could be.
But
Right.
I was sure he was going to pass the driving part, but he hesitated at some of the corners and almost stopped before he turned off a main road onto another road because he wasn't quite sure what to do.
Mm,
And a few other little things like that, that they just said, oh, you're not ready yet.
okay.
So he had a hard time adjusting from left-hand driving to right-hand driving.
You know, I don't know how hard it was for him. I didn't see any signs of trying to drive on the wrong side of the road. The biggest
Yeah.
problem is always backing out of a diagonal parking spot to know which side of the road to go to and making that adjustment. But and he did a perfect job on a parallel parking first time he did it. So
Wow.
those things he can take time to think about, he does quite well. It's
Okay.
having to make a instant decision on turning off somewhere seemed to give him a little trouble.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll
So
get it.
He needs practice, but we're gone for over a week, and so I don't think there's anyone to drive with him.
Yeah.
Jonathan's got his cat.
Either that or a ponytail. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, I'm driving today, so I'm gonna just listen in.
Are you on your way to Michigan or?
Nope, I'm on my way to West Lafayette to pick up my grandma for family Easter.
Oh, okay.
Gonna bring her back to Carmel.
I thought you guys were going to Michigan for something with horses.
Oh, we were in Shipshewana yesterday,
Oh,
Friday and
Shipshewana.
Saturday. So I've put a lot of miles on the car this weekend.
Yeah.
But we had a good time.
Good.
Well, happy Easter, everybody. I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
And
We had a meeting of the Marshalltown USFW girls. I'm probably the youngest one. And they were talking about what we used to do that was special for Easter. And they were talking about wearing their hats and gloves and getting all dressed up with new little white socks, just patent leather shoes. Just those are the days. Mm.
Yeah, I found a lot of pictures from my family that Linda had put on discs, and she had all the Easters together, and the mom always had a hat, and the girls all wore hats and gloves, and I always had a suit and tie, usually a bow tie. So I was just adorable as a little kid.
And then changed.
And then it all changed.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah.
That'd be the name of a good book. Remember when you were adorable?
He'd have to way back.
Well, Norma has a selection of Easter hymns for us, a medley. So if well, as we send her down, she'll offer those to us. Thank you, Norma. The only announcement I'm aware of is next Sunday will be monthly meeting. So I hope that everybody can attend that. Lynn and Steve should be back from their trip by then. Are there joys or concerns that friends would like to share this morning?
Well, Brandon's here with me today. That's a joy. And I'm liking these chairs. That's a joy.
We're sitting on the comfy chairs instead of the folding chairs. We're happy to have Andy with us this morning, Norma's son.
Some of you know that we're the Mills cousins, some of the Barnett cousins are gathering at in Black Mountain, North Carolina this week for 3 days of just remembering when we were adorable and having a good family visit. And so they'll be traveling from lots of different states and on lots of different roads. And so maybe some prayers for some travel safety. Be nice.
And then you'll be here next week, correct?
Dan and I will be there next week, and we'd like to take everybody out for dinner. So whoever wants to show up for that, that'd be great.
Nancy said she's in.
Okay.
Well, as I mentioned, Andy's here, and he's going to favor us with an offering in song.
When God's dear Son passed from the world away, the on high beams pure as light, creation bows over on at the sight. High archangels attended, and countless legions splendid. Lo, the sun soars above, his face sublime with love. O Christ, thy love overwhelmeth me, where celestial ecstasy. Art mine, O King divine. Hosanna, 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 praise be thine. Hosanna, praise be thine.
Thank you, Andy. For a scripture lesson, reading a familiar passage from Mark, the 16th chapter, the first 7 verses. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices with which to go and anoint him. And very early in the morning of the first day of the week, they went to the tomb when the sun had risen. They had been saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance to the tomb?" But when they looked, they saw that the stone, which was very big, had already been rolled back. On entering the tomb, they saw a young man in a white robe seated on the right-hand side, and they were struck with amazement. But he said to them, "There is no need to be so amazed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See, here's the place where they laid him. But you must go and tell his disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you to Galilee, and that's where you will see him, just as he told you." I think it's probably hard to imagine the desperate feeling of those women that morning. Their hearts had to be breaking. The one they loved was dead. And worse than that, he wasn't just dead, he was murdered, executed, hung on a cross by those who couldn't accept him or his message. And he died as an outlaw, hung between 2 outlaws. Most of the men went into hiding. The women less so. They're the ones who are going to the tomb, but they were afraid they might be next. And they get there, and they wondering, how are we going to get in? There's a big stone there. Who will roll it away for us? But the stone's gone. I wonder if their first thoughts is what now? First they murder him and then they remove his body. And then they see a young man dressed in white. And the Bible, in its typical understatement, says when they see this being, they were alarmed. Yeah, they would be. It's like anytime you encounter an angel, there always seems to be some kind of warning that follows that says, don't be afraid. Well, how could you not be? I think the events of those days, if we put ourselves in their shoes, would overwhelm most of us. I mean, imagine having someone that we love crucified, killed unjustly. And you go to the cemetery. I mean, we drove by White Lick yesterday to see the Pearsons who were resting there. And imagine to go by there and see the graves open and nobody there, especially right after it happened. The casket lid removed, and sitting on the edge of the casket is a young man in white who wouldn't be alarmed. But he says, don't be alarmed. This is Jesus. He's risen. He's not here. He's not here. As Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story is they don't find this pronouncement all that comforting. The next verse, which I didn't read, says, trembling and bewildering, the women went out and fled from the tomb. Now, in others, the Gospels are a little calmer, but trembling and bewildered, they went out and fled from the tomb. Who among us wouldn't do the same? And I guess I'm telling this part of the story because and trying to imagine us in it, because I think that the story of the resurrection and the trip to the empty tomb is perhaps a little too familiar to us today. Maybe too familiar, and we cease to be even moved by it. It's just part of the story. We cease to be moved by the wonder that those people must have felt and that perhaps we should feel. After all, Christians have been telling and retelling this story for over 2,000 years now. And as we all know, familiarity can easily breed complacency. We're used to it. And perhaps complacency is dangerous because it allows us to assume we know all we need to know and we don't have to look at this anymore. But it seems to me that Easter story is more than a sad tale with a happy ending, more than just a story full of pathos and high drama. It's not just a story, even though it's a powerful story. The Easter event, the resurrection, is the basis of our faith. Either the man in white statement that Jesus of Nazarene, who was crucified, is risen, is not here, is true, or our faith isn't true. And that's the basis of the Christian faith. If it's not true, then we might as well sign off of Zoom or leave the Goodwin Center and go home and have more interesting pursuits for the afternoon. I saw a meme that the other day that kind of captures how many of us sort of act about Easter at times. It was by a satire magazine, but it showed Jesus dragging the cross, and he's looking back over his shoulder at the disciples, and he goes, now go out and get a bunch of eggs and boil them and color them. Get some empty ones, put chocolate in them, and hide them all over because I'll be back in 3 days. But if this story is true, then it means that we live too. Not just later when this mortal life is over, which we often think of in resurrection, and Certainly at Easter, we often think of those who have gone before. I know this week I've spent a lot of time thinking about our friend Dan Berger, who died barely a year ago. But I think it's true we live now with purpose and meaning. The story of the crucified God, as Jürgen Moltmann called him, a theologian, who did not stay dead and came to the garden, be with his friends that morning, is for us today. It's a message of eternal hope. And I can't explain the resurrection. And though theologians through the years have tried, I don't really care anymore what the explanation is. Seems to me it's not about science or history or even theology so much. It is about faith and promise. I mentioned Jürgen Moltmann. He wrote a book called The Crucified God. And in it he says, the resurrection of Jesus from the dead by God does not speak the language of facts, but only the language of faith and hope. That is the language of promise. Easter is about Jesus the Nazarene, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Now that statement, he is not here, is true about the rock-hewn tomb in which he was laid that's recounted in Mark, but it's true at another level. But at another level, it's not true. He is not here is not true, for he is here. He is here in this room. He's here with those of you who are on Zoom where you are. He is with all of us in our hearts and in the very air. As he said, for where 2 or 3 come together in my name, there am I with them. He is the presence in our midst. The ever-living, ever-loving Christ, whose unfathomable resurrection we do not seek to understand, but should rejoice to experience. He lives today. He lives so that we might have purpose, meaning, and hope in our lives. He comes among us not to tell us how or why he lives. That's a purpose of faith. He comes to show us how to live, how to make our lives count. He lives to bring us back to the right place, our rightful place in the family of God. The poet Carolyn Keefe writes, a woman with shoulders bowed only since Friday steps deep into death's lair. Stupified by guilt or sorrow or not caring, the town had been silent as she passed. Behind the hedges, insensible cyclamen and violets drink life from the sky, from the dawn, giving their moisture back to the sky. They should have perished with him, blasted to the very root hairs, tenacious to the ground. Gather some for him, and with the aloes make an ointment for his bloodied brow. Oh joy, her bitter myrrh had become obsolete at daybreak. Through the ground and rock, sky and sea and stars, he bursts his putrid casing and confronts the universe. He folds the linen, taking it home, to wash from it the stench of death, joyfully out in the forever sunshine. Let us remember this Easter day, the one who brings us life by refusing to be bound by death, the one who stepped out of the grave and lives in us and among us. Reach out your heart and hand, take his hand, and step into that forever sunshine that he makes possible. He is not risen. He is not there. He is here. semi-program worship now and move on to a period of unprogrammed. So, blessings on those who need to leave. Have a joyful Easter, and we hope to see everybody next week.
Brandon needs to go, but I'll be back to help you clean up.
Okay.
No, I'll be back. I'll be
It's
back.
nice seeing you guys. Have a great Easter.
Always say that. Right now.
Good Easter.
Cool.
If friends' hearts are clear, we'll close meeting for worship this morning. Welcome, Judith.
Hi, Judith. Glad you could join us.
Sorry I came late. I couldn't work out the time difference fast enough. Thing is, I'm recovering from abdominal surgery, so I'm at home and not able to get to my local meeting in London.
Oh,
Well, you're happy you could join us even for a brief while.
Yeah, it made me very happy. Thank you.
And we have good wishes for your recovery too. I hope things are going well.
good.
Well, have a blessed Easter, everyone. And Judith, you're welcome to join us anytime.
Thank you. I'm not terribly sure where you are.
We are in Indiana, is our home base, but Megan is in Massachusetts on the East Coast of the U.S.
Yep.
And Jonathan is in Kentucky, which is southeast of here. And this morning we had people from Florida and Iowa as well. So.
And today I'm in Southern California.
Oh, you're in Southern California now? Oh, wow.
I've come to all of America.
Yes.
Yes.
We are an eclectic little group who gathers.
And I want to say thank you for making your Zoom link easy without having to go through the clerk and so on. I know I should have done that, but I didn't expect I would be able to. So thank you for your trust.
Well, we're so happy you found it and glad that you could come.
Yes.
I hope to come again.
Okay. Be well, friends.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.